Didn't that all start from like some Panini sticker album? Like the back is facts about the players, and wasn't it a bit of a misnomer that he was actually that big?
Well,
how could it be 32 inches? That's mental. He's smaller than me.
I'm just putting it out there. Don't shoot the messenger. That's all I'm saying. It's bigger than your whole body, Pete.
What,
his left leg. You could fit your entire body into his thigh.
I could sort of sleep in it like a sleeping bag.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It would be more like a hammock, wouldn't it?
I'm going to move on. He was... well, actually, hang on. I said I have another question. I'm going to be unconventional. Favourite Roberto Carlos goal?
Yeah. Well, he's hit an amazing one from the corner flag.
Yes, Madrid. Glad you said that. When he was running down the wing for
all over the place.
For Real Madrid, and he smashed it right across. That was an unbelievable goal.
I don't know how it went in.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous.
Good call. I'm going to go for a free kick he scored for Brazil against Argentina. Now I think Brazil lost 3-1. They were 3-0 down at the time, and I think it was in Argentina, and it was about sort of 30 yards out. And it was angled. He hit it across the wall into the goalkeeper's side.
Yeah.
Top corner. But he hit it so fast, the keeper was just nowhere near it.
Any number of free kicks, though, from Roberto Carlos. It's worth remembering that he was taking the free kicks in the side with Zidane, Figo, Beckham and Ronaldo in. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, people said his free kick record wasn't that good overall. I mean, he did take quite a few, but I mean, he scored a few memorable ones as well. Like Jimbo said, he must have been reasonably highly rated if he was sort of taking them ahead of some other very, very talented footballers.
He played at World Cup '98 and was a runner-up with Brazil, of course. But in 2002, they won the tournament and beating Germany 2-0 in the final.
I mean, Brazil were... Well, they were the best team in that tournament, and he was a massive part of that. And, I mean, he played well against England, if I remember rightly, as well.
But he was, and for Real Madrid in Europe, he was just one of those players that you just see him in the Champions League, whether he'd be creating something. Oh, he created the goal for Zidane. It was the cross. Yeah. Just putting in solid performances all the time.
Well, he and Raul had a routine, didn't they? Where it was just a very, very simple. He would do a long throw, Raul would run onto it and score. Just the most simple thing you could think of, and they did that so many times. They just had it worked out between themselves so well.
It's worth pointing out that how Roberto Carlos was a special footballer, but if he was playing for a nation that didn't have the attitude of, oh, we're going to play him because he's brilliant. Yeah. If he was English, for example, would he play? Because unless you're playing that formation, England would be very sort of reluctant to play someone who's not a sort of traditional left back. Yeah. Or when they wouldn't want to play him at midfield, left midfield, or whatever. Because he's a wing back, really, isn't he?
I really think it is the case that he just wouldn't be English. You wouldn't
get him.
You wouldn't have a player.
He
like
wouldn't
that
exist.
Coming through.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, that's right. In 2006, he set a club record for Real Madrid for most league matches played by a non-Spanish-born player. He made his 330th appearance, which broke the previous record held by Alfredo Di Stefano.
Not bad company, is it?
Yeah, I see. In the World Cup 2006, Brazil were, of course, eliminated by France in the quarter-final. By Brazilian standards, that's
a poor,
slightly weaker sort of Brazil side.
Yeah.
I didn't realise this, but he was blamed heavily by the fans and local media for Brazil's elimination because he failed to mark Thierry Henry when he scored the only goal of the game. Which I thought was incredible, really. The fact of the matter is they had one shot on goal the whole game, and Zidane bossed them.
Yeah. Another interesting fact about that goal is that's the only time Henry and Zidane ever linked up to score.
Really? Good fact.
And Henry's the all-time leading scorer, and obviously Zidane's a huge icon.
It's funny how certain players get blamed for certain things, but others don't at all, isn't it? Sometimes they think stick. Ginola got pilloried, didn't he, for France?
Losing the ball and then...
Letizia for England.
I do remember...
entirely justified in that case.
But I do remember against Denmark in '98 when Brazil beat them 3-2. They were 2-1 up, and Carlos tried like an overhead kick to clear it, completely fluffed it, and Brian Laudrup controlled it and smashed it in the net. Not one of his better moments. But fortunately, Rivaldo got them out of jail there. But he said about that, he said, I was sad because there are more than 20 players in a team in the squad, and I was the one taking the blame for what happened. He said, that bothered me. I'm respected in Europe, but I wanted to be respected in my own country.
It's all a bit silly, isn't it?
It's quite sad, really.
Yeah, it is,
in 2007, he announced that he was not going to renew his contract with Real Madrid when he moved to Turkish side Fenerbahce.
Well, I thought he was going to go back to Brazil then, but I think, as we were talking about off mic slightly earlier, that he had a few money problems, and those sort of Turkish clubs do pay really well. So he probably earned more there than he would have done going back to Brazil straight away.
I mean, he did pretty well for Fenerbahce. They in the 2007-2008 Champions League, they reached the quarter-finals, which is great going, and they knocked Sevilla out on the way. And they were edged out by Chelsea 3-2 and
I remember that. Yeah.
But he did win the Turkish Super Cup a couple of times with Fenerbahce, so he had a bit of a success there. And he was loved by the fans. They were singing "I Love You, Carlos" and giving him a standing ovation when he left there. And on December the 15th, 2009... he was going back to Brazil to play for Corinthians, to link up with Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I think, and Edu, of course.
It's a mouth-watering prospect. It's a mouth-watering
I
prospect.
had no idea that Edu was there.
Oh yeah, well they're really going for it.
It's their centenary year, isn't it?
It's their centenary year, and they take that really, really seriously. It's massive business, the centenary.
Every 100 years.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Can't come along every day, does it?
Well, but like in England, it's not that big a deal. But in Brazil, it's absolutely huge stuff, and they've never won the Copa Libertadores. And they're one of the few. In fact, I think they're the only big club in Brazil that's never won it. So they're really, really absolutely, centenary year.
Getting up
they're
for
buying they've got some big names in. And he said, "I'm anxious to get to Corinthians, pull the shirt onto my body, hear the crowd, and to make history alongside Ronaldo." And also apparently he's going to be given the number 6 jersey.
Oh, okay, right. That's
Corinthians.
where he used to play for Brazil, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, that was his number. And he hasn't given up hope of playing at the 2010 World Cup.
Most of they pick him, Adriano, Ronaldo,
Ronaldinho,
Rivaldo,
Roger Miller comes out of retirement, Stoichkov, just an old boys World Cup would be class.
I think we'd all like to see that, in fairness.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
They should have like one running concurrently, sort of a Masters World Cup.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But not with an indoor blue pitch.
And England could have like Steve Hodge, Gary Stevens.
It'd be superb. He's 36 now, and he's hoping to play at the World Cup. But the left back spot's actually the only position that they don't really know what they're doing there. And apparently he's got a good relationship with Dunga.
Oh, he wouldn't have done. They'd know each other very well.
Yes,
so if they get on, you never know.
Chaps,
if it was Maradona, he'd be picking him. I think we can all believe that.
Well, he said that the World Cup is the most important competition in the world, and taking part was the most important thing that happened in my life. And he said when he won the World Cup, he said at that moment, memories of my family, friends, and my country came flooding into my head. There was memories of 1973, the place I was born, my friends, the tough times. I didn't give a moment's thought to the fact that I'd played for all these different clubs. I just remembered where I came from and how I'd worked my way up. From the Brazilian team to the Copa America, Confederations Cup. He said I had to keep going up and up and up, and that took a long time. And he said if he's ever having a bit of banter with his mates, he often says, guys, do you know how much the World Cup weighs? I do.
I bet he doesn't. I bet he knows what it feels like.
Yeah, exactly. I hope that does actually happen. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's also nice to see that to these sort of players, the World Cup is still the absolute pinnacle. You know, 'cause there's been a bit of talk of the Champions League's much more important, but it's not really. The World Cup is the one. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. But for my money, the best thing he's ever won was the Golden Foot Award.
Oh yeah.
Remember the Golden Foot? We talked about it.
Yeah.
Get your the feet moulded, and you're on the promenade in Monaco.
He's in there, is he?
He's in there, and if he's in there, he's in the Windass Hall of Fame.
Welcome.
Come on, Roberto Carlos.
I liked how the Fenerbahce fan said, "I love you, Carlos," instead of "We love you, Carlos."
I love you, Carlos. They were singing individually as well.
Yeah, I quite like that.